Now, back to the recital for a moment. There was a break during the performance, right? The intermission.
I don't recall.
And you were there during that intermission, right?
I don't recall that there was a break. If there was, unless it was before the 19th or so dance, I would have been there, yes.
Did you sit in the same seat all the time that you were sitting there?
Yes.
Now, during the break, you sat in the, you stood in the middle of the door and stared at Nicole, right?
Wait a minute, there's no foundation for that. I'm an instruction notation. The
That's
foundation even knows that there's a break.
You were standing in the doorway, staring at Nicole at some point during this recital. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
In fact, you were staring at her quite a bit during the recital, weren't you?
No, that's not true.
And you were upset with her, right?
No.
And there was tension between the two of you, right?
I didn't think so, no.
You felt tension, right?
No.
You were not, you were sitting at some point about 3 or 4 rows behind her, correct?
That would have been impossible,
Why is that?
because she was sitting in the last row of the auditorium the whole time.
The entire time.
Yes.
Okay. And you were staring at her, weren't you?
No.
Have you spoken to anybody who agrees with you that Nicole was sitting in the back row?
I don't know what that means, I'm sorry.
Have you spoken to anybody about where Nicole was sitting at that recital?
No.
Have you spoken to someone who said to you that she was sitting in the last row the entire time?
No.
There were 3 sections of seats, correct?
Yes.
And Nicole was sitting in the middle section, correct?
Wrong.
What section?
The right side section.
And there was a middle section and a left section.
I believe so, yes.
And you're saying that she was sitting in the last row of the right section the entire time?
Yes.
And you were sitting on the right seat of that last row, 2 seats from her?
Yes.
So you were the farthest corner seat, correct?
Yes.
And that's the only seat you occupied?
Yes.
And the only seat you saw Nicole occupied was next to you, 3 seats away to your left. Is that right?
She may have moved over once or twice, but basically, yes.
Okay. Now, when you were speaking to Ron Fishman, he was telling you that he was extremely upset with Nicole, right?
No.
He told you that he had just discovered that his wife was having an affair with a young African-American man. Is that right?
No.
He didn't mention anything of the sort to you?
Correct.
Did you hear that from him at a prior time?
No.
At any time?
No.
Did he tell you that his wife was having an affair and that he had just found out?
No.
Did he tell you that Nicole was helping to cover up his wife's whereabouts?
No.
Nothing of the sort ever occurred between you and Fishman? No such
Correct.
conversation?
No such conversation.
Okay. Now, wasn't it unusual for you to not go to dinner with the family?
There is a foundation for usualness.
Yeah,
after-
what is usual?
Well, you know, you went to a function with your children and their mother and their grandparents, and you had time to go to dinner, didn't you?
Yes.
And didn't you feel it was unusual that you weren't being invited to attend dinner with the family?
No.
Why not?
I felt if I wanted to go, I would have gone, and Nicole would have been the only one that would have had any say, and it wouldn't have bothered her if I went.
You felt you had the right to invite yourself?
Yes.
And at that moment in time, you felt that had you invited yourself, that it would not have bothered Nicole?
Yes.
Is that what your testimony is?
Yes.
But you chose not to?
Yes.
For what reason?
Because I didn't want to be there.
You said you wanted to avoid Nicole, right?
Yes.
And that's why you didn't go, right?
Yes.
And you don't believe Nicole was trying to avoid you, right?
No.
Correct?
Correct.
When you got, did you go directly home from the recital? Let me back up. After you were chatting with Lou Brown, as you previously described, what did you then do?
Said goodbye to the family and went to my car and drove home.
Did you ever see Nicole to say goodbye to her?
No.
Did you see her?
Yes.
When did you see her?
When they drove up in the car,
Whose car?
her car.
With Denise in it?
No.
Who was in it?
Sydney.
Just Sydney and Nicole?
I believe Nicole might have been alone. Sydney may have been in Dominique's car.
Is this after you had given the flowers to Sydney, had your picture taken
Yeah.
and so forth?
Yeah.
Okay. And did she drive up near you?
No, they drove up near the front, and we all walked towards the driveway in the front of the, the area.
And when you saw her drive up, she stopped the vehicle?
Yes.
What did she do?
I don't know. I wasn't watching her. I was talking to the family, saying goodbye to the family.
Did you go over to say goodbye to her?
No.
And then you left?
Yes.
Okay. That's the last time you saw Nicole?
Yeah.
In the car?
Yeah.
And she was sitting down
Mm-hmm.
in the front seat?
Yeah.
Did you see her get out of the car?
No.
What was she wearing that evening?
I don't recall. I think a blue dress.
Was it a long dress or short dress or medium dress or what?
Probably medium short.
And did she look nice?
She always looks great.
Can you tell me a little bit more about her appearance that evening and what she was wearing and so forth?
No.
A single dress outfit?
Yes.
Would you characterize it as a short dress?
Yeah.
Above the knees?
I would think so, yes.
How-
Or at the knees. I don't know.
How far above the knees?
I don't know.
Did she have any jewelry on?
I really didn't look at her, so I couldn't tell you. I didn't really stare to see what jewelry she had on or anything. I didn't look at her that
Was
closely.
her dress a black dress, Mr. Simpson?
I thought it was blue.
Short sleeves?
Yes.
Or were there straps?
I think there were straps.
Okay. Low cut dress?
Maybe.
Okay. And what kind of shoes did she have on?
I didn't look to see.
Did she have any hosiery on?
No, I don't know, but I would say probably not.
And you noticed no jewelry.
I didn't really look at her to see what she had on, really.
How was her hair fixed?
I don't recall, like it always is.
Which was what?
Regular.
Did she have any hair pieces on it?
I didn't really look hard to see.
Bows or ribbons or anything?
I didn't
like
look to see.
that? Now, when you left there, you drove in your Bentley straight to Rockingham?
Yeah.
And when you got to Rockingham, what did you do?
Like, I may have gone to the restroom.
Let me back up. Where did you park your car?
I pulled it inside.
In the Ashford entrance, right?
Yes.
And where you parked it is where the Bentley was last parked that evening, right?
Well, in the same area, yeah.
In other words, you didn't drive it again, is that correct?
That's incorrect.
Okay. So you parked the Bentley in the driveway,
Yeah, wherever the parking area.
got out of the Bentley,
Yeah.
and then what did you do?
I went in my house.
And you were alone, right?
Yeah.
And you entered the front door.
Yeah.
Was the
I
alarm
believe so.
on?
I don't recall.
And what did you do then?
I know I may have gone to the restroom. I was going to go to Paul's. And I believe Cato came in.
What time is it now when you arrived at the house?
I don't recall.
What's your best estimate of the time?
7 o'clock, maybe. That could be wrong. Could be 6 o'clock. Whatever length of time it took the affair to end, and I was 3 or 4 minutes away from my house.
No stops in between?
No.
Okay. And when you got into the house, did you make any calls from the Bentley on the way home?
No.
Did you have a phone in that car?
I don't believe so, no.
Where was your cell phone?
Probably in the Bronco.
Okay. And that was parked out on Ashford?
Yes.
And then when you went inside?
No.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes. I believe Ashford, yes.
What you previously said.
Yes.
When you went inside, what did you then do?
At some point, Cato came in. I know I was getting ready to go to Paula's.
Still dressed in the clothing you wore to the recital?
Yes. And I was going to go to Paula's. I believe I put a call into Paula's. But Cato came. And Cato came, and then Cato and I just started talking.
Where?
I think, I'm not sure, but I think we're still in the kitchen, but we could have been in my TV room.
What number did you call for Paula?
Probably her home number.
Did you call the 305 number also?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
And what did Kaylin and you talk about?
The game.
What game?
Whatever game was on that day.
This was in your family room?
There or the kitchen, I don't remember what place. The game, he asked me about the recital. I think I told him I had spoken to his friend who had called, and just boy talk.
What does that mean?
Most of the time when boys talk, they talk about girls.
You were talking about you having called this woman?
Yeah, I told him I had spoken with her. She was very nice.
And what did you talk about concerning the recital?
Oh, that Sydney was really something to see.
Was that it?
Yeah, he may have said something about Nicole.
What did he say?
I don't remember. He asked me how was Nicole, and said she was gorgeous, and we talked about women, you know. I may have told him a little about what was going on. I may have told him a little about what was going on with these girls. I'm not sure.
What girls?
Cora, Faye, Nicole.
What did you say in that regard?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I could have spoken to him about Cora and the women.
What did you say about Nicole?
I don't remember.
You have no recollection at all?
No.
Did you tell did you tell Kaylin that you were upset with Nicole's attire?
No.
Did you tell him that you were upset that her dress was too short?
No, I may have made a comment about women, these girls, I think in connection with the Tracy Adele being a businesswoman and these other girls relying on their sex appeal, wearing short skirts and stuff, and what are they going to do when they get older?
When they're grandmas?
Was to that effect, yeah.
Did you make
I
that
think it
comment?
wasn't short skirts. I think it was more tight than short.
Tight skirts?
Yeah.
Nicole had on a tight skirt that night.
No. No, I think it was...
You can't. Want some water?
Nicole had on a
Tight skirt that night, right?
No.
Did you tell Kaylin that Nicole was wearing a black miniskirt?
I don't think she was.
Did you tell Kaylin that?
I wouldn't have told him that if she didn't wear that.
In reference to Nicole, did you say to Kaylin, what is she going to wear when she's a grandma? Is she going to wear those dresses when she's a grandma?
I don't think quite the way you said it. I may have referred to these girls, speaking of the group as the general, when they get older, they ain't doing nothing now. What are they going to do when they get to get grandma? I can see them when they're grandmothers, because I've said this many times. I can see them with their grandmothers, even to Nicole, walking around with these tight, short skirts, and we used to laugh about it.
You, by your actions and your demeanor and your comments to Kaylin, you were expressing that you were upset with the way Nicole was dressed. Is
Not
that
at
right?
all. Not at all.
You were expressing that you were upset that she would not let you see the kids, correct?
I don't think so. Not talking about her dresses, about seeing the kids. No, I don't think Nicole would ever keep me from seeing my kids. No.
Didn't you tell Kaylin that you were upset that she wasn't letting you see the kids that night?
I don't think I said, Cato, I was upset, using your words. I don't think I used that word at all.
Did you use a word that means the same?
I don't think so at all.
Did you tell them that you were unhappy or upset or disappointed or that you were not invited to dinner and that you were not included in this family outing?
Not at all.
You said no such thing, is that right?
Exactly.
Did you tell him that you wanted to spend time with the children this evening?
No.
And they- Okay. How did you get into a discussion with Kaylin about Nicole?
We were talking about women, and he was asking about the recital.
Did you tell Kaylin that you were pissed off towards Nicole?
No.
Or pissed off at all?
No.
Were you?
No.
Were you feeling upset or angry at all?
No.
Were you feeling depressed,
No.
unhappy?
No.
None of those feelings?
No.
Were you feeling upbeat?
I think I was tired.
How would you describe your mood and demeanor when you were talking to Kaylin?
Kicked back, tired, laid back.
Not upset about anything?
No.
Did you tell Kaylin what Fishman said?
I may have. I think I may have.
Can you think of anything else that you and Kaylin discussed?
No.
You were still in your clothing from your recital, right?
Yes.
What did you then do?
I changed.
What did Kaylin do?
I don't know.
By the way, how did he get into your house?
If I was in the family room and he was walking by, I would have let him in the back door. Otherwise, if I was in the kitchen, he walked into the kitchen area where I was. When I saw him, I may have let him in there.
In either event, he would not have invited himself in,
No.
right? He would have
No.
had to be invited by you, right?
Well, if he'd have saw me, he could have knocked on the door and said, hey, and I would have said, come on in, yes.
But he would not just have come in on his own.
He's never done that, I don't think, not with me around.
Okay.
No.
Did he tell you, when you went to change, did he leave the house?
Well, when we finished talking, he left the house.
Where did he go?
You have to ask him.
Did he ask you if he could use the jacuzzi?
He may have, yes. That may have been when he asked me about the jacuzzi.
What did you say?
Yeah.
He needed permission to use the jacuzzi, right?
Well, he asked me.
Is that the first time he ever asked you?
As far as I know, yes.
You went upstairs and changed, right?
Yes.
What'd you do with your shoes?
Which
You had some black loafers on.
took them off upstairs.
Where'd you put them?
Probably in my closet where I change.
What'd you do with your socks?
If I had on socks, I either put them in the shoes or in the drawer.
In the drawer?
Drawer, yes.
Did you have on a pair of socks?
I don't recall.
If you were wearing socks, what color would they have been?
Black.
Do you remember if you were wearing socks?
No.
Did you have, what'd you do with your pants?
Hung them up.
In the closet, right?
Yes.
The sock drawer was in the closet, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And what about the shirt
Hung it up.
and the jacket?
Yes. Well, I folded it, put it on a shelf.
Okay, and then you put on the golf pants and the golf shirt, right?
Yes.
Reeboks and white socks, right?
No, not Reeboks, just white socks at that point in time.
Okay. And what'd you do then?
I went downstairs and I packed my suit. I packed my suit. Put it together inside of that suit bag and laid out my Louis Vuitton bag and probably put some socks and underwear in that. Then I went downstairs and then no,
Did you make any phone calls?
I don't believe so.
Did you make any phone calls at all from the time you got back to Rockingham from the recital until the time you called Barbieri on your cell phone at 10:03?
Yes.
Who did you call?
I called a girl named Gretchen,
Who was Gretchen?
a friend of mine.
Was she a friend at that time?
Yes.
A girlfriend?
She was a girl and she was a friend, yes.
Did you have a romantic relationship with
No.
her? Had you ever?
No.
How long had you known her?
On and off. When I say on and off, I knew her and her boyfriend 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years.
Did she have a boyfriend at the time?
I don't believe so.
And how did you know that?
And she told me.
When had you last spoken to her before June 12th?
2 or 3 weeks prior to that.
Were you contemplating dating her?
Possibly.
Did you discuss that with her 2
No.
or 3 weeks before?
No.
But you knew she was unattached, right?
Well, 2 or 3 weeks previous, I knew she was unattached.
And you hadn't heard from her since, right?
No,
Is that correct?
that's correct.
And you called her?
Yes.
And tell me about that phone call.
It was a message machine on, and I just left a message.
What was the message you left?
I don't know.
In substance, what was it?
What's going on? What are you up to? I'm around. I'm alone. Something like that. And I'll be back in town. Give me a buzz. Let me know what's going on with you.
Did this call occur before or after you changed your clothes?
I don't remember.
Was Kaylin in the room at the time?
No,
Before or after you spoke to Kaylin?
I don't know.
What's your best recollection?
I don't have one.
Did she live in Lomita, Gretchen Stockdale?
I don't think so.
Let me show you a telephone call at 7:32 p.m. on June 12th from your Rockingham residence to Lomita. This is Exhibit 40. Tell me if that's the call that you made to Stockdale.
Where is it now?
It's 7:32 p.m.
I don't recognize the phone number, but it could very well be.
Time about right?
Yeah,
What did you have you told me everything you said in the message?
for the most part, that I recall, yes.
Did you say something in the message to the effect that, hi, this is OJ, I'm unattached for the first time in my life?
Possibly.
Was that true?
Possibly.
Why were you unattached from Paula at that time?
Well, Paul and I was trying to get back together. I didn't consider Paul and I an attachment or an unattachment.
You didn't consider Paula
An unattachment or total attachment, but I don't think I was really thinking about Paula at that time.
you previously testified that at that time you were involved in a monogamous romantic relationship with Paula.
That's correct.
You didn't consider that an attachment?
Well, we were being monogamous, and we were working on putting our relationship back together, yes.
But you were trying to establish another relationship with Gretchen on the 12th,
No, I was
right?
not. No, I was not doing that
But
at
you
all.
did say you were unattached for the first time in your life, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Did Stockdale ever call you back, by the way?
No.
Never heard back from her?
No.
Okay. After you changed and came downstairs, what did you do?
What do you mean? Are we talking about phone calls now, or
Well,
just?
you went upstairs, you changed, you laid out your baton, you came downstairs, you said
Yes.
socks with no shoes on, right?
Well, yes.
And what did you do?
Phone calls, I don't know where they fell in here.
What phone calls?
Well, you were just asking me about phone calls.
No,
Now
but-
you're going to another subject.
No, that's one call you made to Stockdale. Were there other calls?
Yes.
Who did you call?
Christian Reichart, Sidney Simpson, maybe Michelle. I may have returned the call to Michelle, I'm not sure.
Who's Michelle?
She was my ex-housekeeper.
Abderrahim?
Yes. I'm not sure of that, but I may have seen. It just seems as if I spoke to her that night.
Sydney's your daughter?
Yes.
Okay, and Christian was Faye's boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay, now, did you make any other phone calls?
I don't think so.
Did you make one to each of these three people?
Yes.
And these calls were all made from your Rockingham residence?
Yes.
What telephone?
Either the kitchen or the TV room.
And this is after you had changed back into your golf clothes, is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Yesterday you said you couldn't recall the color of the shirt. Can you recall it today?
No.
Now, were all these 3 calls, well, tell me what time they all took place.
All before I went to get a hamburger.
You went to get a hamburger around 9 o'clock
Yeah,
p.m.
I believe so.
Okay. And what was the order of these 3 calls?
I don't know.
Did you go to get a hamburger earlier than 9 p.m.?
No.
What did you say to Christian Reichard? What did he say to you?
I just asked him how he was doing, and he told me somewhat of basically of what had transpired.
With Faye's intervention?
Yes,
Was that the only subject discussed?
yes. Oh, and us getting together.
You
that
and
week.
Christian?
Yeah, I told him maybe Paula had a friend, and that I'd be back in town, and possibly we can have dinner Wednesday night.
Any discussion about the recital?
No,
About Nicole?
no. Other than the intervention,
Nothing else?
nothing else.
Who did you call? Well, you don't remember the order of the call.
No, I don't.
What was your call with Michelle about?
I don't recall. Maybe I don't really recall. That's why I don't. It just seems that I spoke to her that day, but I can't really recall if I did or didn't.
Do you even remember whether it was in the evening that you made this call
No.
to Michelle?
No.
Could have been earlier, right?
Yeah, it could have been early.
Same thing with Christian?
No, Christian was after the recital.
You told him what Fishman had told you?
Yeah, I was calling to see how he was doing. It sounded like he had a tough time.
Michelle could have been earlier. And Sydney? When did you call Sydney?
Somewhere in that period of time,
Where did you call Sydney?
at her house,
Where was that?
on Bundy.
Was anyone home?
Yes,
Who answered?
Nicole.
And what did you say when she answered?
I need to speak to Sydney.
Did you say hello to her?
I don't recall.
Did she say anything to you?
No.
Did you say, this is OJ?
No.
You just said, let me speak to Sydney.
No, I say, is Sydney still up? Words to that effect.
What did she say?
She got Sydney.
What did she say?
She got Sydney.
Now, did she say anything to you?
She got Sydney.
Did she say, yes, she is, I'll go get her?
She got Sydney.
I'm not asking you what she did. I'm asking you if she said anything in response to your statement.
No.
Okay. Now, how long did it take for Sydney to get on the phone?
I don't know.
What time was this call?
I don't know.
But you clearly fixed it prior to going to get the hamburger.
Yes.
Did you ask, tell me about the discussion with Sydney Simpson.
No, it wasn't a discussion. I was just telling her how great she was, and I told her that I'd be back by next weekend, and I may not get back till Saturday because of a wedding I was going to in San Francisco, and but we were definitely going to Knott's Berry Farm on Sunday.
Going where? I'm sorry.
Knott's Berry Farm on Sunday.
You told her that you might not be back into town until next weekend?
Next week, because normally it was my weekend to have them. I'd get them on Friday, but I wouldn't be able to get her till Saturday. Daddy wouldn't be around Friday, but I'd definitely be there Saturday.
The
Even
following Saturday, you
the
meant?
following Saturday.
You were coming back Monday or Tuesday from Chicago.
Yeah, but then I had to go to San Diego for a Hertz thing Wednesday, and then Thursday to San Francisco for another Hertz thing and a wedding with Paula.
On what day?
We were going to leave probably Thursday because I wanted to show her my neighborhood.
And whose wedding was that?
A friend of hers.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Did that person get married
Yes.
on the day,
Yes.
scheduled day?
Yes.
You don't remember her name?
No.
You had made plans to go to Knott's Berry with Sydney and Justin?
Yes.
And had you communicated that to Nicole?
No.
No. How long, what else did you say to Sydney?
That was essentially it.
And what'd she say to you?
She loved me. Love you, Daddy. See you next week.
That
On
was
words
it?
to that effect, yeah.
And then you,
Wasn't a long conversation.
did you ask to speak to Justin?
No.
And you hung up?
Yes.
What time was that?
I don't know. No, if I do, I'm gonna have to be in trouble because I need to pee.
There's no use being uncomfortable. You
Yeah.
need to be.
Well, I'm into this.
Yeah,
Now, it was, I'm sorry.
he needs to. He didn't make his pit stop. He needs just. We'll just take a 2-second cover break.
Yeah.
Be right back.
We're lucky. This is unusual. Normally I pee about every half hour.
Thank you for sharing.
Hit, Rod.
We are back on the record now, and the time is approximately 4:32.
When was the last time before this occasion on the evening of June 12 that you called the Bundy house, Nicole answered, and you didn't even say hello to her?
Maybe a week before.
You did the same thing then?
Yes.
And what was the last time before then?
Probably doing a long period of time the year before.
This was behavior that you would engage in toward her when you were not feeling good towards her?
When I was avoiding her, yes. I don't know if that's behavior. I call and people call me and says, Jason home? And I say, yeah, and I get Jason. I call her and say, Sydney there? She gets her. I don't know if that's a behavior. I don't understand what you mean by behavior.
Well, you don't think there was anything unusual about calling her, her answering the phone and not saying a word to her other than let me speak to Sydney?
Yeah, is Sydney there? Is Sydney still out? No, I don't think that's unusual. No.
But in other words, you were not trying to be friendly and towards her, right?
I was calling to speak to Sydney.
You were not attempting to engage her in any kind of conversation, correct?
True.
You were trying to avoid her, as you said, right?
No, in this instance, I was trying to speak to Sydney.
But you've been trying to avoid her earlier.
I wasn't trying. I was succeeding for the most part.
You were trying and succeeding to avoid her.
Yes.
You were angry at her, right?
No.
Now, you got into an argument with her on this call, didn't you?
No.
And you made her cry, didn't you?
No.
And your daughter Sydney overheard that, didn't she?
No.
You positive?
Positive.
But you were angry at her, weren't you?
No.
You deny that?
Yes.
Don't answer. You've taken wide latitude, and I let you have wide latitude, but you're way out of bounds.
I've taken appropriate latitude.
Well, that's in the eyes of the beholder, and I don't think so.
Was that the last phone call you made that evening before calling Paula later on at 10 o'clock or thereabouts?
I believe so, yes.
What did you do after you got off the phone with Sydney?
I don't know, because I don't know what time I got off the phone with Sydney.
What did you do next
Next when?
after you hung up?
I don't know during that period of time what time I got off the phone with Sydney, so I can't really say what I did next.
Okay. Were you with anyone?
No.
You were alone in the house, right?
Yes.
And were you packing
At what point are we talking now?
when you got off the phone with Sydney and before you went to McDonald's?
Well, that's enough. That's argumentative in view of what he just told you.
Well, I'm trying to,
No, you're not. You're just
Of
trying
course.
to trip him up.
of course, trip him up. Why?
Why? What a shocking
What?
assertion in view of his testimony that he doesn't know what time it was.
Well, I didn't ask him what time it was. I would just want to know, without regard to the time, what you did next.
If you can sequence it, tell him. If you can't,
I
tell him
can't
you
because
can't.
I don't know exactly what time it was that I called any of these people.
Well, you did say that it was before you went to get a hamburger.
Yes, I do know that.
After you hung up with Cindy, is the next thing that you remember then getting a hamburger?
I don't recall what the next thing was. I may have talked to Christian, may have been the next thing. I don't recall what the next thing was.
After you made the calls to Christian and Sydney, is the next thing you remember getting a hamburger?
I really don't recall exactly when that was, so I can't tell you exactly what it was we got a hamburger.
When you got home and after you changed, other than making the phone calls to Christian and Sydney, can you remember a single thing that you did?
Yes.
What?
I packed. I got my car and brought it in and got my clubs out of it. And I put my clubs in the golf bag.
When you said you packed, you had already laid out the Louis Vuitton bag in
Yes.
the closet, correct?
Yes.
You had already put your socks and underwear in it, right?
I believe so, yes.
When you just said now that you packed after these phone calls, what did you mean?
I thought you said to me after I got home.
That wasn't the
Will you go back to the question he asked me?
Well, let me ask
well,
you,
hold
No,
on,
I
let's
asked
go
him,
back.
would you go
Yeah.
back to the question he asked me?
please, feel free to go back.
Question, when you said you packed, you had already laid out the Louis Vuitton bag. Answer, yes. Question, in the closet, correct? Answer, yes. Question, you had already put your socks and underwear in it, right? Answer, I believe so. Question, when you just said now you packed after these phone calls, what did you mean?
He didn't say he packed after the phone calls.
He did too.
No, you gotta go back to the
Let me
previous.
go back to the prior
You go
question.
back to the prior question.
Let's go back.
back to 304.
No.
This answer?
Why don't
This
we
question. When you got home and after you changed, other than making the phone calls to Christian and Sydney, can you remember a single thing that you did? Answer, yes. Question, what? Answer, I packed, I got my car and brought it in, and I got my clubs and out of it, and I put my clubs in the golf bag. Question, when you said you packed, you had already laid out the Louis Vuitton bag. Answer, yes. Question, in the closet, correct? Answer, yes. Question, you had already put your socks and underwear in it, right? Answer, I believe so, yes. Question, when you just said now you packed after these phone calls, what did you mean?
Very clever, but we're not buying your questions or because you asked him other than. So
Not after.
yeah. So he answered your question correctly.
Okay. Are you unable to sequence, to use your counsel's word, the order of the following events after you came back and after you talked to Cato Kalin? I'm talking about after you came back from the recital now.
Yeah.
and After you spoke to Kalin, right?
Yeah.
Changing clothes, packing, phone calls to Sydney, phone call to Sydney, and phone call to Christian.
That's a compound.
Are you able to sequence those for me?
That's compound in the events, and he's already sequenced part of those for you.
Yeah, I believe he said that he went upstairs and he changed.
That's right.
Okay, now, so let's, after changing, did you pack before you made the phone calls to Sydney and Christian?
I began to pack
Okay.
before I made the phone calls to Sydney and Christian.
Okay, did you pull the Bronco in before you called Sydney and Christian?
I don't recall.
Tell me about pulling the Bronco in. You walked out the door and went out the Ashford,
Yeah, I went out on Ashford,
and what did you do?
I pulled the Bronco in, took the golf clubs off, packed the golf clubs in, got my, cover of it, packed my golf clubs into the cover, pulled the Bronco outside of the gate, and I believe I grabbed my phone at that point and ran back in.
When you pulled the golf clubs out, you put it in the cover bag and put it out on the south bench, correct?
Yeah, my cover bag was in my lobby.
Right.
I'm in my foyer.
And did you pull anything else out besides the golf clubs?
At that point in time, I don't believe so.
Like the cell phone case or
Well,
the...
as I just said, I pulled the Bronco out and believe I got my cell phone when I came back in from outside.
I'm confused. When did you get your cell
That's
phone?
not the test.
When did you get your cell phone in from the Bronco?
When I parked the Bronco.
When I
In that period of time when I pulled the Bronco out and I came back in, I had my cell phone.
Okay. So you were parked on Ashford, but when you parked after taking your golf clubs out, you parked on Rockingham. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Why didn't you park on Ashford where you always park?
Because I didn't want my dog to go out, and I was trying to keep my dog from going out on the street.
Doesn't that happen whenever you pull your Bronco out?
Yeah. Normally what I do when I'm leaving, I sit in the gate until the door is beginning to close, then I go.
You're gonna have to start that answer again.
Normally when I'm leaving,
Yeah.
I sit in the gate.
In the morning, if I'm taking the Bentley, I'll sit in the gate, I'll open the gate, pull up to the gate, I'll sit there until the gate begin to close, and I'll leave. That's what most of the people who have lived at my house do, so that our dogs don't go out.
And did you do that on this occasion when you were pulling the Bronco out?
No, because I can see that I didn't see the dog near me, and I pulled it out and came back in real quick so that he couldn't go out. She wouldn't go out. And also because I don't think I had my door key, and I didn't want to walk all the way around.
When you pulled the Bronco out and parked it, you were able to get back in through the Rockingham gate before it closed?
Yes.
You didn't have your keys with you?
Even if I didn't have, I didn't have my keys with me, yes.
You did not?
No, I didn't.
And that's when you took the cell phone out with you?
Yes.
But not the windbreaker or the cell phone case?
No.
What time is it when you parked the Bronco?
I don't know. It was in that period of time, though.
Now, you knew that you were going to be gone for a few days, right?
Yes.
You were prepared to leave the Bronco out on Rockingham?
Yes. Gigi may have used it when she got there Monday, but yes,
She had
I
a
was.
key to it?
Always kept a key in the house.
Is when you usually park, well, with Ron, whenever you park the Bronco on Rockingham, how do you get back in through the gate?
Whenever?
Yeah, when you park the Bronco on Rockingham, how do you get back into the property?
Sometimes with a key, sometimes if I had the puncher in the Bronco, or the clicker, or whatever you call that. But back in, normally the only other times that I recall parking on Rockingham was normally because of getting my newspaper, or, you know, people park somewhere, or I see somebody I know or something.
Without the key, you still could have parked on Ashford and pushed open the Ashford gate and gotten into that property, correct?
Correct, that's correct.
But that would have required you to walk to the gate on Ashford, right?
And probably look for my dog.
Okay. Now, when you parked the car, you went back inside, do you remember what you did next?
I went in the house. And either I made some phone calls, or I read, or I know I did some reading in that period of time. So maybe I was sort of watching TV and reading, or all the above.
Now, during this time, were you with anyone?
No.
When you said you made some phone calls, you mean the calls to Sydney and Christian?
Yeah, that may have been when that happened.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I did those back to back, but I know in that period of time I spoke to them.
Had you ever put any shoes on at this point in time?
No.
Yeah, so when you went out to pull in the car and do all that, you had just socks on, right?
Yes.
When you took your socks off later in the evening, what did you do with them?
Put them in my hamper.
How long were you in the house before you went to get a burger?
I don't know.
Did you decide to go get a hamburger?
Yes.
Was it your suggestion?
To myself?
To yourself?
No.
Was it your idea?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's a pretty funny question.
It is funny.
Yeah. By me?
You decided to go get a hamburger?
Yes.
And then what did you do? I think before I went upstairs to get my shoes, I noticed Cato had left the jacuzzi on. And I put it off, told him that he had to be careful with that, and be careful with that, with the jacuzzi. And because sometimes you think it's all the way off and it's not. Then I went back in, I went upstairs, I put on my shoes, I guess grabbed some money, and that's when I realized I really didn't have any change. When you told Cato to be careful, did you do that in person?
Yes.
you saw the jacuzzi was on, and how did you go get Cato?
Walked.
Walk to his room?
Well, to the top. The jacuzzi's on the patio in his room. The other part of the patio, I walked and said, "Hey, Cato," because I could see him through his door, and
Was
he
the door
walked to the
open?
door. No.
He was in his room?
Yes.
And you said, "Hey, Cato," what?
Because I wanted to talk to him.
Did he come out?
Yes.
What did you say to him?
Told him you have to be careful when you use the jacuzzi because when you think it's off, you got to look for the little bubbles because it's still on. You know, you turn off the blower, but you didn't turn off the other little jets.
Were you upset with him?
No.
And did you ask him to go to dinner with you?
No.
Then what did you do? You went upstairs and put your shoes on?
Put my shoes on, got some money, didn't have any change.
How much money did you get?
I don't know.
Where'd you get it from?
My vanity.
What were the smallest bills you had?
Ones.
$1 bills?
Yeah.
What were you looking for in terms of change?
Enough to buy a burger, and then I thought about I would need some money for the sky cap.
Well, how much money did you have on your vanity?
I don't know, maybe $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000.
On your vanity?
At that time, yes.
In all denominations?
No,
What did you have?
$100 bills.
In some $1 bills, right?
2 $1 bills.
The rest were all hundreds and higher? Or just hundreds?
Just hundreds.
Now, was some of this money underneath the sweater?
Not at this time, no.
All on the vanity?
At that point, yes.
Yeah, how long had it been there?
Probably since I've been back from the golf course.
And you had that money with you at the golf course?
Yes.
Did you win that money at the golf course?
I don't know if I won or lost that day.
When you came downstairs, then where did you go next?
I went and asked Cato if he had change. Did he have any? Could he break 100?
You went out to his room again?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
Well, he walked out the door and he said, I said, can you break 100? Because I'm gonna go get a burger and I need some money for the sky cap.
What did he say?
He walked in. He said no, but then when he walked out, he gave me a $20 bill. But here, take this.
He said he didn't have change of 100.
Yeah, he said no, and then he handed me a 20.
What did you do?
I started walking and told him thank you. I started walking in the house.
And then what, did you go out to get the burger then?
Well, he asked if he can go, and I said sure. And we went and got the burger.
And what car did you drive?
Bentley.
Were you bothered by his going with you?
No.
Did you want to be alone?
No.
You didn't ask him to go, correct?
No, correct.
Okay. You left the Rockingham exit, is that right? Gate, I should say.
Yes.
And did you stop any place?
No.
You drove?
You mean other than stop signs? You mean make
Yeah.
a...
Did you make a stop anywhere, a destination stop anywhere along the way to the hamburger place?
No.
Where did you go?
To
which
McDonald's.
Which McDonald's?
It's on Santa Monica,
Santa Monica and what?
26th Street.
And you drove down which route did you take to go there?
Rockingham to 26th Street to Santa Monica.
Rockingham, turn which way on 26th?
Left.
Left, and then what on Santa Monica?
Left.
Left.
Yes.
Is that the closest fast food restaurant?
I think so, yes. I don't know about fast food, I don't know, but certainly McDonald's, yes.
Is that the closest McDonald's to Rockingham?
I believe so, yes.
Is there one almost as close?
Yes.
Which one is that?
Up Wilshire near San Vicente.
You ever go to that McDonald's?
Yes.
You ever go to the one on, what, 26th Street, did you say?
Yeah, most of the time, yes.
Why did you choose the one on 26th Street this time?
Because in my mind, and I know for a fact now, it's closer. And it's the one I've always taken my kids to.
And when you say you know for a fact now, what do you mean by that?
I was bothered by something that was said in court. So I clocked, and I didn't think it was right, so I clocked it. So I went and clocked it with my mileage.
What was the result of clocking it?
The one that I went to was closer.
What were the distances?
I don't remember.
How much closer was it?
Not much, but it was closer.
Did you do any other clocking demonstrations
No,
after court, after you got out of jail, I should say?
no,
Like between Bundy and Rockingham?
no.
Okay. Was this a drive-through?
Yes,
Okay. Did anybody, did you talk to anybody along the way besides Kaylin?
no,
Okay. And did you make any phone calls?
no,
Did you have a car phone there?
no.
When you went to the drive-in, did you order for both Kaylin and you?
I may have.
What did you have? What did you order?
I believe a Big Mac.
Anything else?
Maybe some French fries, but I don't remember.
Anything to drink?
No,
And what did Kaylin order?
I don't remember.
Did you pay for it?
No. I mean, I handed her the money, but it wasn't the 20 he had given me.
It was the 20 he had given
It
you?
was not the 20 he had
He
given
gave
me.
you the money for this?
Yes.
An additional 20?
Yes.
And you gave it to was it a man or a woman?
I believe it was a woman, but I'm not sure. I believe it was a Hispanic woman, but I'm not sure.
Had you seen her before?
No,
Okay. And how much did it cost?
I don't remember.
Did you receive any change?
Yes,
And what did you do with the change?
gave it to Cato.
How many bags did you receive?
One.
Okay. And when you got the bag, did you pull out?
No, he took it out and gave it to me.
You gave him the bag?
Yeah.
And then you drove off?
Yes,
And did you eat in the car?
yes.
Did he eat in the car?
Don't think so.
Did you eat your whole hamburger in the car while you were driving?
Yeah, I think it was done by the time I got home.
And what did you do with the bag?
I believe, because there was lettuce in my car and stuff.
In your Bentley?
Yeah,
How do you know?
because I picked it up.
When you got out?
Yeah.
What about the bag and the wrappers from your burger?
I think he kept the bag, and I just had the wrapper. So I either threw it in my garbage, which is right there, or took it in the house and threw it in the garbage,
Right where?
right by my Bentley.
And did you or did you not eat French fries?
I don't think so, but I might have.
And did you or did you not have a drink?
No, I didn't. I didn't order a drink, no.
What was the last time before this occasion that you and Cato went out for a burger together?
A burger?
Yeah.
I don't think we did.
What was the last time that you and Kaylin before this occasion went out to dinner together? Just the two of you?
Just the two of us?
Yes.
I don't think I ever had dinner with Cato, just the two of us.
Is this the first time the two of you had ever gone out to get something to eat?
No.
When had you done so before?
I think he brought his daughter the week before this with me and my kids. I was taking my kids to, I believe it was Sizzler, and he brought his daughter, and they came.
And when was the last time before that that you went out to eat with him and others?
I don't know, but maybe 6 months previous to that with Nicole, and we all may have eaten somewhere. I'm not 100% sure of that.
So this was the first time that you and Cato had ever gone out alone to get something to eat?
First time he had ever asked me to go with me. Yes.
And you had never asked him, correct?
Never, no.
We know the answer to that. We know the answer to that. Did you talk to Cato on the way to and back from the burgers?
I'm sure we did.
Normal conversation?
I guess so.
Were you feeling so quiet?
Feeling,
I'm sorry, were you what?
Quiet? Feeling quiet?
I was feeling tired.
Did you talk much?
I don't recall, probably not, but I don't recall.
Less than you usually do?
I don't recall.
You don't recall anything you discussed?
No,
You don't recall how much you talked?
no,
Was Kalen annoying you?
no,
Was he making a lot of chit-chat that you weren't interested in hearing?
no.
Okay. Did he say anything?
I'm sure he did.
Did he say much?
I don't recall.
Was it relatively a quiet drive to and from?
It was just two guys driving. I don't know, whatever we were talking about, we were talking about. It may have been the basketball game.
Did he eat in the car?
I don't think so.
Now, when you got to the Bentley, when you drove in back to back to your house, you drove in on Ashford, right?
Yes.
And you pulled in your Bentley in its normal parking spot, right?
That's correct.
And then what did you do?
As I said, I got out, I picked up some lettuce, and I went in the house.
What did Kalen do?
I guess he went to his room.
And which way did Kalen get into his room?
The way he always does, I guess.
Around the property?
Yes.
To the left of it?
Yes.
And which way did you go in?
The front door.
Who went first?
What do you mean?
Who went inside first?
I couldn't see, so I couldn't tell.
It was dark?
No, there's a whole house between my door and his door, so I
Well,
can't tell.
When you were at the Bentley, was Cato waiting for you
I didn't
to
look
walk
to see.
together to the house?
I don't think so, because he was gone. And then I just heard him saying, hey, have a good trip or something, as he was evidently going around the house, but I really didn't see.
So when Cato was going around the house, were you heading towards your front door?
Yeah.
Okay, so the both of you had walked away from the Bentley.
Well, he had walked away, and I was getting the lettuce and the crap that had fallen out of my
Okay.
burger out, and then I walked to the front door.
Okay, by the
of my
time
house.
you closed the door of the Bentley, finished scooping up the lettuce, was he already out of sight?
I don't think so, no.
So as you started heading towards the front door, he said something to you?
Yeah, have a good trip or something. I see you, man. You know, some mundane thing.
Did he kind of pause and wait to see if you would invite him in to eat his burger in the house with you?
I didn't see that, no.
And did you ask him to come in?
No.
Okay. Did Cato Kalen see you go in the house?
I don't know.
Was he in a position to see you enter the door?
I wouldn't know.
You don't know.
No.
By the time you entered the front door, he was already around the house?
I didn't see him, so I assumed he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good stopping point.
Yeah.
I think the circle's clear.
This concludes the deposition of
What'd you say?
Ronald
Circle.
Simpson, volume 3.
Excuse me, guys, excuse me just a second,
Record,
please.
and the time is approximately 4:58.